Hi, this is Marely. Welcome to my gluten-free kitchen. Today I'm going to make a classic gluten-free cheesecake. For this recipe we're going to need a 9-inch springform pan, which opens up like this. We're also going to need some parchment paper, and I'll show you how to do the tracing of the paper so that it won't stick at the bottom. Now for the crust, we're going to use this fantastic mix that I found at my local Whole Foods. It's called S'morables, gluten-free S'morables, graham style crackers. It is perfect for a classic cheesecake. We're also going to be using 3 tablespoons of white sugar and 1/4 cup of butter. Okay, so for the actual cheesecake, we're going to need 4 eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a cup of white sugar, and we're going to need a pound of Philadelphia 1/3 less fat cream cheese, or 4 8-ounce packages. This is gluten-free. Again, no matter what brand you use, make sure that you check on the back of the panel that it is gluten-free. In this case, it only says contains milk, so you know you're safe with that. For my filling, we're going to use a pre-made cherry mix, and I'm going to add to that a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So we're going to use parchment paper for the base of our springform. Even though it's Teflon and it's not supposed to stick, I found that gluten-free flours do tend to stick quite a bit. So in order to avoid that, we're going to go ahead and make this so simple by simply tracing with the pen the bottom of the pan, and then after that cutting it. Again, you can find on my website different tips that I use throughout my baking recipes. All right, these are the S'morable crackers. Now, one of the things that you're gonna find out always, most of the times when you buy gluten-free baked goods, is that they come in these very hard packets. They're trying to prevent breakage. So don't think that you're gonna find a lot of crackers in them. They're just protected in this plastic container. So in order to make about 1.5 cups of our crust, we're going to need an entire package. I know it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. So let's go ahead and grind away. So we have our ground gluten-free S'morable graham crackers ready. We're going to put together 3 tablespoons of white sugar and 1/3 cup of melted butter. Now I put this in my microwave for 20 seconds at half power. So we'll put this in a mixing bowl. 3 tablespoons of white sugar and our butter. Now for this, we're going to get our hands dirty because we're going to have to mix this and make sure that everything is nice and soft. All right, this is ready. Now what I'm going to do is get my springform pan, and all I have to do at this point, go ahead and put it on the base. Now it's nice and tight. Make sure it's secure before you use it. Alright, so we're just going to spread evenly our mix. So there we go. This is what we want to do. I want want to press it nice and tight, evenly around the pan. There we go. Okay, this is ready. I now have the 4 packages of cream cheese in my mixing bowl. I'm now going to add the sugar, the cup of sugar, and the teaspoon of vanilla extract, and make sure it's all, I'm going to beat it up until it's all well blended. Okay, so we've blended the cream cheese, the sugar, and the vanilla extract. You gotta make sure it's nicely blended. Now it's time to add our eggs. I'm gonna start my mixer at low speed, and we're gonna add 1 egg at a time. Now we wanna make sure we keep going until we find a nice creamy consistency. Make sure all the ingredients are nicely blended. And I think we're almost there. I think we are. So now that I've preheated the oven at 300 degrees, I'm going to go ahead and pour in our mix into the pan. Alright, so I'm going to put the mix into the oven at 300 degrees for 55 minutes, or until the center of the cake is set. So I had to cook my cake for a little longer, 5 more minutes, so that makes it an hour. And at this point, I'm just going to take it out of the oven. And I'm going to let it cool off. After removing the cake from the oven, I ran a knife around the rim, the inside of the rim of the cake, to loosen it up. I let it cool for 1 hour or until you get it to room temperature. After that, go ahead and remove the rim and refrigerate the cake for about 4 hours. So I refrigerated the cheesecake for 4 hours, and now we're ready to prepare the filling. This part, it's super easy. All we have to do is put the canned filling into a bowl and add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now this is just a step I like to do because I like to add more flavor to my filling. And I also like to use the light version of all fillings because otherwise it's just too sugary for me. Okay, so all we need to do, the final step, is to go ahead and pour in the cherry mix on top of our cheesecake. Now remember, if you have cracks on your cheesecake, don't worry about it, because once you put the filling on top of it, nobody's going to notice, and it's going to be just as delicious. I know I get a little worried sometimes, but in the end it doesn't matter. Okay, oh, this looks delicious. Now remember, you have a lot of options. Some people like blueberries, others like plain. I always like to add a little bit more flavor, and this is one of my favorites. So take a look at this beautiful cheesecake. This is definitely a dessert that you're going to be able to share with friends and family, and let them know that gluten-free desserts can be so delicious and absolutely not boring, which is a misconception for a lot of people. Here you have it.